Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Commodities Report. We're starting with the iShares Treasury here at the 20 years, and we're looking at wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and coming down for wave 5. So we still need to come down further, and when we do come down further, we'll call this wave A, and then a B wave, and then a C wave. That's being generous at this point with the A, B, C, because you could look at it differently as wave 1 and 2, which is possible, but I don't want to scare the hell out of you, but that's that. Obviously, folks would count this a little bit differently at the top here because it's a little bit messy, but when we view the 5-year yields here, you'll see the inverse of this very clear at the bottom here. So it's very clear here that where we are, and we can label this wave 1 and 2. That's the reason I've done that. And then we've got a nice beautiful impulse wave for wave 3 here. 1 2 3 4 5 4 5 for wave 3 on a weekly chart here. I'm not going to go to the intraday at the moment, and we need to take out this top here, so the trend here is still continuing to the upside. When we consider this here, then we would consider that there's half a silly chance that we've got wave 1 in here and 2 coming into play here. Now, the US dollar would be, attractive at this point as well, and it would also be looking at 1 2 3 4 5 moving up through here. So before we have a look at I do want to have a look at the US dollar, but I also want to, and this, when we look at the treasuries, we're looking for 5 waves up here, and we can label this wave A here and wave B over here, and so on, and have wave C move to the upside. I don't know why that's gone up there, but okay, that's 1982 stuff. Yeah, so anyway, that's all. To me, this is all doable. I mean, I just see it pretty clearly, I have to say. Sometimes, sometimes I'm a bit iffy about things and I don't know, but I always say I don't know. If I don't know, I don't know. But to me, I can't fault having 1 2 3 4 5 to the upside here. And if we do get 5 waves, so then we get a correction, which with the B wave will probably come back to wave 4 or something, depending on how wave. The market 5 is the second strongest number in the market after 1, and it will just gravitate from that anywhere from 656 to 650 back to 3. Basically, that's the way I sort of see it. At tops, I don't reckon they'll get down to 2, but anyway, anything's possible. But that needs to come down here, I reckon. Down here somewhere, I'll bring that down. That's a bit more realistic. So that's where we are. We're still in this trend. We still need to make a top here. Sometimes, we can, if wave 3's got the extension in it, wave 1 here, and wave 5 can be roughly the same length as well. So I'll give that some consideration. But what I wanted to have a look at next was the DXY here. This is a monthly chart, and I just want to look at the volume. We'll have a look at the wave count in a moment, but so to me, in reading volume, is you need increasing volume for a trend to be a trend, really. If it's going to keep on going. I mean, a trend can go in a particular direction on lower volume, but it won't go very long in that direction on lower volume, so lower volume is normally associated with corrections. So if you're looking at a triangle pattern, for example, that triangle will be on lower volume than the previous trend, and you can take that concept bar for bar as well, but I won't go into that at the moment. You can see that on our website, how to read volume like a musician would read a score of music, I guess. But we can see increasing volume here, right? And then we see decreasing volume here. So it does concern me a little bit, this decreasing volume here, because it's telling me that this is corrective, And yeah, I could probably, look at this. Let's get my toolbox out here. We could look at this in some term, as we kind of are in a way looking at it, some sort of ABC correction here. looking for this to rally into the, well, I'll just take it to the 100 here because there's two different counts. You can take it from here and here. There's different ways to count all of this, but still the 61.8% and the 50% is still up at the 108 and 109. So while the yields are pushing up, we expect the dollar to push up. We'll expect the gold and silver to push down at that point, and anything that's affected with that in its own way, so to speak. But yeah, the volume here is, and we're seeing sort of increased volume here as well. I mean, the month is not finished here for this one, but we are seeing I'm seeing this push up here on higher volume. So it's confirming, the volume is confirming the price action. So we've got a trend here. So we need to keep a bit of an eye on all of this. But yeah, it's just telling me that this move is corrective rather than a bear market, put it that way. Okay, so let's just go and have a little look at this here, and there's different ways to count all of that. So this is the dollar index. This is on a CFD product, and so it's slightly different pricing. But there's different ways to count all of this here as well. I can count it as wave one here with an A and a B, and looking for a C wave up into this area through here. You could also put wave one over here and look at this as an A wave and a B wave. That counts floating around. They're just obvious counts that can be counted in different ways. It's not going to make a lot of difference, because if this was wave A here, for example, sure, wave A can have 5 waves in it or 3 waves in it, and a wave 1 would need 5 waves in it. So there is a little bit of difference. But, the move down that we're seeing in silver, for example, is in 5 waves. So we could look at this as being 5 waves up here. So I think we'll have 5 waves for the A wave. Or wave 1, and wave 2 doesn't have to be that big because all the trends are pretty tight, and then push up for 3, 4 and 5. And the only difference is if this was an A wave here and there was a B wave here, then we'll just have one more leg up in 5 waves, But I'm sort of, I don't know. I mean, I'm sort of going with this count because of the yields, really, the bonds and the treasury bonds and the yields. That's why I've got this here. But I could easily be wrong, But the important point here is that the takeaway is that the volume is telling us that the market is, the buyers are in control at this, And why wouldn't they with the yields so high? I mean, that's got to be, one of the safest trades around, really, isn't it? So yeah, anyway, that's that. The other point here too that I've just been harping on about is that the 105 here, 5 being the second strongest number, we're going to see some type of correctional pattern around here, and it just goes to make sense. We've got history over here and this history. This little top here mentioned that would see a sell-off at that point, and we'll see one at this one, and it's going to be tricky around 105 here, so you don't need to be that involved in it. It's helpful if you're on the gold side, doing the gold and the silver, and we're going to look at that now, so we can look at those as the inverse of this as well here. So this is gold's here. I'm not going to go into the big account with all of this. I'm just going to stay on this 100 ticks here from the beginning of September here, this move down here. So we looked at shorting it here. I'm going to remove this. Trade. And the reason for moving it is last time we spoke, I had wave 1 here and wave 2 here. But I want to tie it in with the US dollar. So I'm going to put this over here and this over here. And we're going to look for some sort of ABC pattern in here. And this is what the dollar will be going through at the 105. I thought I might have had it over here, but the dollar really hasn't moved that much. And the other point here, I'll come back to this, but the other point here is in the same thing in September here. This is silver. So with silver here, we've got a pretty clear position here of down for 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all of this as wave 5 here. And then, we've been toying around with this being wave 4 here. It's pretty pretty damn messy. Could we have this new low here at wave 5 here? It's possible. We could also still be in wave 4 here, so I'll just keep a bit of an eye on that, but I'm just going to leave that at the top there for the moment. And if that is a low in place here, then we need to start looking at the A wave. We'll need the dollar to react from the 105 area. So if the dollar's going to react from here, we're pretty close. I mean, the dollar's the same. It's all a little bit messy here, but all in all, we should be, reacting at this particular point here. So we'll look for a short trade in this, but as I've mentioned before, it's we need to resolve it. So we'll see if we get this rally in silver. Coming back to gold here, so I think I think even though I could put wave 1 here and wave 2 over here, that would kind of make sense. But I can get just the same count with looking at this here as 1 and 2, and then accounting for all the structures in here of 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for third, fourth, and fifth, an A and a B and a C for 4, and then down for 5. In fact, it even counts better. It's just that wave 4 is really quite humongous compared to wave 2 here, but what do you do? It's okay, I think. So anyway, let's just see this now. The mistake that I could make here would be that this move continues to the downside here. So let's just put this 1900 in here. So the bounce could come from the 1900 here. So it's possible that this can move down here further, because it looks like such a nice wave 3 here. I mean, I can count 1 and 2 here, and then all of the third wave to here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for third, fourth, and then the extension in the fifth. And commodities tend to have the fifth wave as extensions, or am I just justifying my situation here is the question. So it's quite possible that this is just a wave 4 rally. It does look a little bit impulsive here, with a little bit messy in here, but nice third, fourth, fifth. So it looks good there. So if what we could do, instead of getting out straight away on our long trade, our short trade under here, let's just go and do some coloring in here, and put this here as the red line, and not a huge profit, but so it could rally back up from here. So we want to protect this position, At the same time, it does look like we could use this strong move down as a third wave. So it's possible that it could drop down here further, and then that way we take it. So there's not a lot of difference between here and here, 1 point above that top there, of course. And also, if you're using a CFD provider, understand the bid and ask spread that they've got, and you can set your platform up on your bid or ask on most of those CFD platforms as well. So look, it may come down for one more, it may not, but I just want to grab what we can here, and I'm just sort of thinking that we'll go back in, but we'll just wait for the dollar, we'll wait for silver and gold. They can all kind of move together at that point, but that's where we are with this at the moment. So that's gold, and we just went through the silver, so I don't really need to go. We just need to wait here at this point next, We just have to wait for this to play out. It's sitting on the top of minor group 1, and so the strongest numbers are 1, 5, 8, and then 3. So we're seeing that here. We just may get some sort of rally here. We'll just give it a little bit of time here for this to play out a bit further. I mean, it's not the nicest 5 waves down here, that's for sure. But anyway, we still need. You could short it under here, but I don't want to do that either just yet. We'll just wait. Come over to the base metals, and just using the XME here, as you know. So we're looking for a move to the downside here to help sort of finish this off a little bit. We've certainly got some type of nice little triangle across here. I mean, if I didn't have that little high here on this platform here, that little high here, then I could put this over to here, and then I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here, and I could have it as a wave C. And if I had that as a wave C, then I could look at this as wave 1 and 2. So that's possible to do it that way. There's also other ways to view this as well, in terms of just changing a few subtleties like that to rearrange the count. But one of the things, there's a couple of important things here really, is that whichever way you want to look at this particular pattern going across here, it is not bearish. So it's bullish. It's a bullish corrective pattern. The second thing is that it's all about this number here, number 5, and it's it's basically, it's diminishing into this particular point here. It's had its high and lows here, wild swings, and they've been getting smaller, and they're smaller and smaller. The ranges in the bars are getting smaller and smaller, so it's really tightening up here. So this is a point where most people kind of fall asleep at the wheel, but this is the time to not to nod off and focus on this little area. So in this little space here, we were looking at this being the A wave here, with a little A, B, and C wave up here. And then we're looking for this move to come down here. And we were going from 10,000 ticks to 10 ticks to just investigate in this particular space here. And this is it here. This is the little 5 waves up there. Doesn't finish off that well, because I could look at this as 1 and 2 here, and then 3, 4, and 5 here, but this spike has taken out that top there. But I'm still a bit of a wave short. But then I could look at this over here as 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for this here, and have 5 waves in here. Now from this low here, we've got an A wave, a B wave, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for C wave. So we've got a nice A, B, C pattern in here. I don't know if that's 5 waves down or not. I can see some issues with it. But if, and I would expect, this is probably around the 61.8%, but it depends on where you take it from in this space here as well. So yeah, so I mean, the worst that could probably happen here is some sort of move to here and then down again. But we do have that nice ABC pattern in there already, and I could probably look at this as an A and a B and a C if I look at that as 1 and 2 here. So I'm kind of thinking that it's going to drop, So we'll just wait and see. Anyway, the main point is that this move here from here to here appears to be corrective. I just don't know if we get one more push up here, or we just drop straight from here, and we can look at this as 1 then, and well, over here we can look at this as wave 2 here, heading down to wave 3 at this point. So we're just waiting to kind of confirm that. It does appear that that's the case, but just need to confirm all of that. Because I mean, I can see there's different ways to count all of this here. I mean, certainly I would be, I mean, if this is going to go up here, then we're going to see, iron ore, copper, all of those things. We're seeing uranium sort of push up there anyway at the moment. Lithium hasn't really found its feet just yet. So we're not quite there just yet with all of this. But if this top got taken out here, well, then, that would raise some eyebrows at that point, and we would be looking at some long trades in that space. So that's that, but now we need to have a look at some of the things in here. So we want to have a look at copper first. So I'm just going to go back to this charting program, and there's copper here. So we've got this situation. This is copper futures here. And we've got this situation where we can view this as an A and a B and a C wave up here. And yeah, I mean, we could look at it as being bullish as well, as 1 and 2 and 1. And this looks like 5 waves here. So it can be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here. You could probably count that as 5 waves and look at this as 3 waves as well. So even if this came, even if this came down here, that would still be okay for a bullish count. It really needs to take the B wave out here. So we're just still playing in this area here. I can see that it could be different things. I can see on the futures market here that, when I look at the UK market, we can look at this, the LME, we can look at this as an A and a B and a C wave up here. But we could also view it as wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 in here for this. Put wave 4 here and look at this as 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So when I don't know the big account, I just go into the details, and when I'm in the details like we are now, we just have to wait till it gets to a certain point and it will tell us. So we're just comfortably, waiting on the fence for this. We can see this little pattern that's in here. It does look a little bit bullish, this little pattern in here. If we go to the, well, just this and this here, if we look at this on this chart here, which is the high grade copper out of the US, so from the low here we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then we can look at this as an A and a B, and we basically there's 5 waves here. And then yesterday was it, yeah, over the last few days, looking at this here as possible wave 1 and 2 here. So now that that's come back up and overlapping this here, then there's a good case for that. But anyway, we'll just wait to see. We'll get a little bit more on this. Where are we? 38 here. So if I was going to fail, it would fail at the 38, but it's sitting in group 2 here. So I'd be more on the bullish side sitting on group 2. If it was under the group 2, the 65 number here, then we'd be bearish at that point. But yeah, just to say that it is looking bullish here. It doesn't mean that we can trade it doesn't mean that we can trade BHP and all of that just yet. Let me, where's BHP? I haven't seen that for a while. So BHP is all scrunched up here like the XME is, and all of this sideways movement here is a bit like what we're seeing in copper anyway, and it's reflecting back in here. And I can look, to be honest, I can see that we could look at it in different ways. Obviously, this low and these highs here are significant. I mean, I've got this as 1 here, an A and a B and a C for wave 2. That fits well. I could look at this as wave 1, but wave 2's really dropped a lot here, isn't it? It could quite easily fall through the floor here, but it would be interesting if it does push up here. Do you know what I mean? Then if I can get another little thing in here, we could look at something over here to go. But we're not, we're not there. We're not there yet with any of this just yet. Do you know what I mean? We're close, but the XME can tell us that we can come down here first. But I'm prepared to go long, but I just need to have all the right things. I need to have a few things in place that I can get my teeth into. But in the meantime, I just don't have that. And excuse me, iron ore is the same as well. So with iron ore here, we're looking at iron ore here. So with the Singapore exchange here, which is different from the Chinese exchange, we can look at the top here as the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave here, and then 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 here. So it's become, I could also, but on the Chinese exchange, I could view this a bit more bearish. But if this was 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here, when that 1 finishes here, then when this wave 1, this move up here finishes, then I could go long above that, because the other flip side to this is that what we have to be careful about is that this here can be an A and a B and a C wave here. And then we just come down from that point. So I've got to get past that point, really. And after 5 waves here, we're going to have some sort of ABC pattern or some bearish pattern, and they'll have the same count for the first 3 waves. So we've got to get past that as well. But I'm sort of hopeful on the bullish side, and that said, on the bullish side, we can look at that little move up, that on the this little, just go back here, this little move here, right? This is on the Singapore exchange, and this is on the Dalian exchange. This is the little 5 waves up here. Now I could squeeze 5 waves from here to this wave 3 here and look at this as an ABC back for wave 2 here rather than wave 4, but then I thought, well, I'll just wait for this to play out here. So that's all I'm doing. I'm waiting for it to play out. But I'm kind of bullish, when I look at the XME, I'm kind of bullish, and then because I think, well, okay, well, the XME needs to drop a little bit. But that's kind of in the share market side of things, really, you know, those stocks. And when we look at the S&P and the NASDAQ, we're looking for a wave C or 4 to finish to come down a bit further. So that could just drag that down, but it doesn't have to drag the actual commodities down. So the commodity, and if it was going to get pushed to the upside, then you'll need something that's going to lead it. So iron ore could be a leader and be out in front of the rest of the pack. So that's why I've got this little wave 1 and 2 here. So I still need to do a little bit more, you know, a bit more work. I can count 5 waves from here to here, but it doesn't take out the top here. So then I think to myself, is wave 5 going to be 5 waves up here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know? Is that going to be the case? I wouldn't think so. Anyway, I need to do more work on this, but we're getting there. It doesn't mean if we look at Rio, for example, here, it's the same sort of thing here. I'm just sort of waiting for, I mean, I can look at all of this as 1 and 2 here. I could look at it in more of a corrective pattern here as well, but I mean, just simply looking at this, I can go an A and a B and a C wave here, and then look at this as wave 1 and 2. It's a rather big wave 2 compared to wave 1. So that means I could look at it as possible, some other, you know, more sideways pattern like the XME, you know, the XME has also been tripping here for, you know, since it's the same thing as BHP, really, you know, it's been tripping for a long time, but I know that we're getting close. I just don't have all the answers just yet, but, you know, we don't want to take, if we take a position, you know, in iron ore or, you know, in these stocks, then, we want to be reasonably sure. We want to move in and build in and stay in, you know. So I'll just stay a little bit, bit more patient in this as such. So anyway, just shoot the breeze. So that's all of that. And then we come to the energy sector. So the XLE here, crude oil, we've got the same count with 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 here. So we're in this 5th wave here. I was thinking yesterday that we may have the top in here already, but this is all 1 and 2 and 3 and some sort of expanded flat for wave 4, and then we need to still continue up for wave 5. This is also a classic trading level pattern here. So we've got the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then the ABC pattern. So be careful about, you know, you can trade up. It's not really a problem, but you know, you'll get caught. So this is the arrival, the reaction, the first high. So we're in this trend here. And same with crude oil, this is where we are, and we want this ABC to come back. It'll be a bigger ABC pattern for crude, but it'll probably come back below this particular low over here for that. But this is the pattern that we're looking at here at the moment, and this is at 90, so that's that. So based on that, the wave 4 that we're looking at, from wave 4 to wave 5 here, we're looking at this. I'm just putting all this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. I know there's lots of mistakes in that. You could look at it differently, but it's such a nice third wave, and it gives me that anchor to do the rest of the counting off. So we've had this as an ABC here for wave 4, and we've talked about a few other things, shooting the breeze, but it's all pretty clear now that we've got this here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here. Not a very nice 5-wave structure here, but this here is giving me 3 waves back. So we'll have to look at this as being wave 1 and 2 in here. I might as well just continue. This is pretty close to being the 3rd wave here. Probably it does need a bit of a double check. And wave 4 and wave 5 here for wave 3, then 4, and yada yada yada. So it's still got further to move to the upside here in a nutshell. So 4, 5, 4, something like this, 5 here. It won't be that big, and then this will be at, this is a CFD, this is at, this will be at $90, and so will the XLE be at $90 as well. Well, it's already above $90, isn't it? So, but once that falls into place here, we're going to see some larger correction fall into place here, because this is the 5 waves to the upside, the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5 up here. Okay, so which is going to produce, you know, some, as I mentioned, I mean, it can pull back 50-60% of that 5 waves, you know, but sometimes they're quite small, sometimes they're big. Well, anyway, we'll keep a bit of an eye on it. That's what we have to do anyway. And then look for this to the upside. So Any crude stocks, you know, I mean, will be good, but you'll need to get out of them up here because there will be that pullback. You know, I've got stuff in the energy sector in stock in Australia, but I'll just hold that through that. Sometimes I can't be bothered with all the paperwork with taxes and things, you know. So I'm a lazy analyst, I'm a lazy trader, and I'm just the average lazy Aussie. So anyway, we'll talk about this wave 2 here, but we'll see how that. And if I've made a mistake, the market's going to continue to the upside. We're going to see it here in a smaller version of this. We'll see it like that. So we'll be back for more. So that's that. Was there anything else I want to talk about there with that? No, that's all pretty easy. So then we come over to the gas market, and this is the United States Natural Gas Fund. It's a little bit different from the futures on the crude side, on the gas side. But the interesting thing here is, you know, I counted the low down to here, and then we counted 5 waves up here. So if we get 5 waves up, we're going to have a correction, and we've had the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here. It's really quite big, not really like straight away I knew it was not going to be a wave 2 at that point. So we're definitely in a correction. Then we could look at this as wave C up here for this. You could probably count this a little bit differently, but I've got this as an A and a B and a C wave here for the A wave. And now that this is pushed up here, because I could have had this here, I was also thinking about, you know, having it finished at this point here, and I was thinking of natural gas being finished at that point. And it's possible, but you know, as wave 1 here, an A and a B and a C back for wave 2. So if I just copy this here and put wave 1 here and put wave 2 up here, so that's going to be a little bit of a thing. So this little move up here is appearing to be in 5 waves. It's not there yet. We'll need wave 4 and 5 up here, and then we'll need an ABC pattern here. So we could go long in this market or natural gas at that point. But this wave 2 here would linger as an A and a B and a C. It's a bit different from the other markets. So just, you know, if we're going to go long, we need to know what the short trade is, you know, and if we're going to go short, we need to know what the long side is. So we need to enter into the market at a point where it's going to be already resolved and safe to move forward, and that's what I try to do. It's not always the best price. But otherwise, we need to go sort of look at wave C up here. And this wave B would come down here as an ABC for the B wave. And then we'll look for 5 waves up here for this. So that's what we need to look at now. So I'm using this chart because it's a little bit cleaner. But the takeaway here is that the A wave for natural gas, the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave over here for this. That's what we're looking at the moment on the bullish side, but we've got to get there first. So we need these little 5 waves. You can see there's a nice 3rd wave here. So we need the 4th and the 5th, and then we need the ABC, and then we can go long at that point. Okay. We'll either be going long, or this will push up to here somewhere and then fade at that point, and we'll have to consider as wave 2 as an A and a B, as wave 1, an ABC for 2, and then down again. They're the both sides of the coin. Okay, so we're going to take this idea and put it to the test with the futures natural gas market. So based on that, what have we got? 100 ticks here. So from the bottom here, I'm going to look at the bottoms just over here. I have to bring more data in it, but the A, the B, and the C wave here for wave A, and then an A wave, an A and a B and a C for the B wave, and then down for the C wave, because I've definitely got 5 waves here. So if it was going to be an A wave, an ABC for the B wave, and then move up here for the C wave up here, which I don't have, then that's where it needs to be at that point. I don't think this is quite the right count, because what I don't like about it is this little move in here, and it doesn't match up with the gas market, with the other chart that we just had a look at. So in this case, the market has pushed up here. I was expecting it based on this 5 waves here, and then this being corrective wave here, and this also being 5 waves down here. I'm getting 5 waves moves to the downside and corrective waves up to the upside, but now it's showing me that it appears that we're going to have a 5 wave move up here. So just to trace that out a little bit first, is that this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 1 here, wave 2 here. This would be 5 little waves in here for wave 1. I assume wave 2 will be here. Bit small for wave 3, so it'd have to be wave 1 here and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here, and then we will push up for wave 5 here. That will make wave 3, and then wave 4 here, and there'll be another wave 4 over here, and then this will be wave 5 over here with wave 3 and 4 and then 5 up here. So it will be something like this. If we get these 5 waves up here, which I think will looks probable, then after these 5 waves, we're going to have, so I'll just draw one straight line up here, then we're going to have some sort of ABC pattern here. This is going to be a classic trading levels pattern here. So wave 3 is going to be the arrival, wave 4 is going to be the reaction, and wave 5 is going to be the first high above the level, and then we're going to have our ABC correction over here. If this is the case for wave 2, then we'll need to be looking at long trades over here. It's as simple as that. The other thing is that it doesn't take the top out here, or it does, or whatever, don't really care. And then we'll look at this as a top, and we'll look to be bearish at that point. And this would have to be counted differently here. I don't know how I'll count that just yet, but yeah. So, I mean, in terms of trading, we're looking to go long above here, but that's never really the case. So we normally look for a little classic trading level pattern in here. I'm not going to send anybody long in here. This is going to be our trade over here, this B wave here. And we may be able to build in earlier over here for this. But that's how I have to look at it at the moment, unless things change. Can I still have 5 waves down here for wave 1 with an A and a B and a C wave up here and not take the top out here? It's possible. It's possible. I could put, a wave C up here somewhere. But anyway, don't want to go long, even though it will go higher. Don't want to go short. So I have to wait for this to all play out here. So yeah, I was looking for the short trade here. That was where the bias was, but I had to wait for it to be proved. It didn't prove itself, so at least we're safe. We have missed this run here, so we have to wait for the next train to get onto. That's about the size of it. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.